conditionals. So we are going to discuss conditionals, but before that, I'm going to show you some questions. Let's see how many of you really know about these conditionals beforehand. So first question we have: if she dash you, she would pass in the exam. So what do you think if you get this question in the exam?
If she were you.
If she were you.
Okay, she were or she was, because with she we use was only, right?
Was.
What do we use with she? She was going to market or she were going to the market?
You can't use
Was. Then, but I heard were is the right answer. Why so?
Sir, as it is, we are like just imagining or expecting that.
Correct. Okay, that's correct. So remember, we'll talk about this, why we are using were here, not was, after we are done with the conditions. Okay, in 5 to 10 minutes, we are going to come back to this exercise. For now, the right answer here is going to be were, guys. Second question we have: if I dash to America, I will stay with my aunt. What's the right answer? Go, goes, will go, shall go.
Sir, will go.
Will go.
Will go. Okay. Ananya, what's the answer for you?
I shall go.
I shall go. Okay. Priyanshi?
Sir,
I
shall
am
go.
not sure for this answer.
Okay. The right answer is going to be goes here. Sorry, not goes. It's going to be go here. What's the right answer? If I go to America, I will stay with my aunt. That's the right answer. Now, why it is so? We are going to go back. Okay, we are going to come back to these questions. Then we'll discuss. If I dash to market, I would have got you whatever you needed. Will go, would go, went, or had gone.
When.
Sir, if I would go.
Sir, if I will. I
Okay,
Had gone.
if I had gone.
if I had gone, okay. Can we go for went? If I went to market, I would have got you whatever you needed. Can we? Okay, only one answer is correct here, guys, and that is going to be had gone. Now, why we are using had gone over these answers?
Sir.
Okay, we'll discuss about that in a while. Now we have: if you dash ice, it melts. Heat ice, will heat, heated, hand heated.
So heat.
Okay, if you
Sir, will
heat,
you will heat. Sir, will heat.
it's not will heat, guys. It's going to be heat here. If you heat ice, it melts. Okay, so there are 4 conditionals in total. How many conditionals we have? 4 are there. Okay, remember what was the answer you had chosen? Okay, we are going to come back to these questions and then we'll discuss why it is one answer over the other. So when I say conditions, guys, they're going to be a condition. Okay, conditions are rather put using if clause, and then we have a result based on that. For example, there's a person, he says, if I go to America. So this is a condition. When this thing is done, then based on that, something is going to take place in future. Okay, he's saying, I will stay with my aunt. Okay, so he's saying what? If I go to America, I will stay with my aunt. So that is going to mean we are using if, and then we are using a condition here. After condition, we are using a comma, and then we are using the result. So that is one way of writing the condition. We can also write the condition. Okay, we can interchange it. We can say, I will stay with my aunt if I go to America. Okay, so either way we can make the sentence. We can say result first, then we have if, and then we have condition. Beta.
Sir, by writing the result at first, we don't have to give comma.
That is correct, Suraj. Okay, so that means you're getting what I'm trying to convey here. So see, guys, as Suraj already mentioned, see, we have these 2 sentences. Do you think there's any difference in these 2 statements?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. The position of result and condition.
Okay, position is there, and apart from that, is there any change in the meaning?
No, sir.
The meaning isn't changing. Okay, so see, guys, either we can put if clause at the beginning. Okay, then we can put the result at the last. If you're doing so, always make sure that you are using a comma before the result. But if you put the result first, then there is no need of comma before the if clause. Getting it? Now, sometimes, because we use this in day-to-day life, guys, sometimes we say, if I go to America, and we don't use comma here, rather we say, then I will stay with my aunt. Do you think the sentence is correct? If I go to America, then I will stay with my aunt. Is it correct?
Yes, sir.
Yes,
so
sir.
this statement is going to be wrong, guys. Now, why so? So remember, if you have if clause at the beginning, what we have? If clause. Okay. At the beginning. Take takes a comma instead of a of then. We cannot use then word, guys. Okay, because if you use then it is going to become the subordinate clause. We cannot make a sentence using two of the subordinate clause, okay, without using the main clause. So we cannot say if I go to America, then I will stay with my aunt. This sentence is going to be wrong. And if you ask me why it is wrong, so it is wrong because of this word here, which is then. We cannot use then in between. Rather, what are we supposed to use?
Comma.
Very small thing, but it's very important. Okay, we are going to separate them using comma. When you speak, then sometimes you use then. That is going to be okay. Although you should avoid it, but you can. It is going to be okay. Okay, but if you talk about the writing, then remember if you are starting the sentence with subordinating clause or the if clause, in that case, always use comma to separate the main clause or the result from the sentence. Getting it, beta? Okay, now I'm writing another sentence. Do you think this is going to be correct? If I say if I go to America, I'm saying comma, then I will stay with my aunt. Do you think it is correct?
No, sir.
No.
No, sir.
Okay, I cannot say comma then, I cannot say then. I have to say if I go to America, comma, I will stay with my aunt. Okay, or I can change it. I will stay with my aunt if I go to America. Result is first, then if condition. Then I don't require a comma. Any doubts so far? None. Okay, so remember if clause whenever it is at the beginning, we are always separating using comma, then we have putting the main clause or result is there. Okay, condition first and then the result. Or we can put the result first and then we can put the condition without using a comma. So I can say if I see her, I will tell her. Or I can say I will tell her if I see her. So if you're using if clause at the last, then don't use comma. If you're using it at the beginning, use a comma. But can you use then or comma then?
No, sir.
No, we cannot. Okay, so it's not that we always use if only, guys. Sometimes you can get these clauses using other words like when can be there, as soon as can be there, no sooner than can be there, and as can be there. For example, I can say if I see her, I will tell her. I can say when I see her, I will tell her. As soon as I see her, I will tell her. No sooner do I see her, I will tell her. Or as I see her, I will tell her. So that means it's not always if clause. It can be another word also, like when, as soon as, no sooner than, and as also. But again, we are talking about condition. Okay, if the first condition is fulfilled, based on that, something is going to take place in future. Now, if you talk about the condition, we use it in day-to-day life also, in mathematics also. Like if you say if y is equals to 3, then 2y is equals to how many?
6.
6 is going to be there. Okay, we can also say 2y is equals to 6 if y is equals to 3. Getting it? Now there are 3 of the basic conditions, guys. How many basic conditions are there? 3 are basic, and then 1 is going to be a 0 condition. Altogether, how many conditions we have?
4.
4 are there. Great. Okay, now let's discuss about these, when to use which condition and what time. So remember, first conditional is going to be, this is known as present conditional. What do we call it?
Present condition.
Okay, in this type of condition, we always start the sentence with if, because we are referring to conditional. So if will be there, or it could be other words. If will be there, then we are going to use simple present tense. Which tense are we supposed to use? On the side of if, simple present. Okay, on the other side, we can use will, we can use shall, we can use may, we can use can, and we can use must. These are the words which we are supposed to use on the other side. Now, let me tell you when to use this type of condition, guys. Okay, when we have possible condition and there is a probable result. So I would require a volunteer. Let me take Yash. Am I audible to you? Yash, Aaron. Yash, beta. Can you hear me? Okay, let me go to Aakash. Aakash, audible? Aakash Bansal. Okay, and Abhinav Gupta. Abhinav Gupta. Or Dhruv Bhardwaj. No one is audible?
Yes.
Okay.
Sir, am I audible?
Great. Okay, Kansh
You
and
are
Dhruv.
audible.
So say guys, so we have 2 of them. Now let's assume, okay, they are very good friends. They know each other for a long time, and Akansh has grown up. Okay, now he goes to buy a lottery ticket. What he has gone for, Akansh?
Lottery ticket.
Lottery ticket. Okay, and you have got a lottery ticket with you. So the person, we are assuming the person has a lottery ticket with him. What he has, the person has a
Lottery ticket.
okay, and then he's saying, and he says, person has a lottery ticket, and after that he's saying something. Okay, Kansh is here. He's telling it to his friend, and who is his friend here? Dhruv is there.
Dhruv.
So Akansh tells to Dhruv that Dhruv, if I win the lottery, that means the lottery ticket he's holding. He's saying, if I win the lottery, I will gift you a car. What he's trying to say here? That whenever Akansh wins the lottery, he's going to gift a car to Dhruv. Getting beta? So what
Yes.
we have used here, there is a possible condition. Is it not? Don't you think it's possible for Akansh to win the lottery? Or it is possible?
Yes, sir.
So
It is possible, right? Based on that possible condition, do you think there's a probable result? This thing can happen in future. Like if he wins the lottery, can he buy a car or gift him a car to Dhruv?
Yes, sir.
He can,
Yes,
right?
sir.
So that means we have a possible condition and we have a probable result. In such a scenario, guys, when we have a possible condition and probable result, we are going to use first conditional, present conditional. In this type of condition, there is always 50% chances. How many chances we have?
50%.
50%. Okay, because this thing may or may not fulfill, means it's going to be like it may happen or may not happen. Okay, now that depends upon his luck. So in this particular case, we are going to use if, then we are going to use simple present tense. And then on the other side, we are going to use will, shall, may, can, or must. Like if I win the lottery, we are using simple present tense. On the other side, we are using I will buy a car, or I may gift you a car. I shall gift you a car. I can gift you a car. Or if he makes an obligation, then he can say I must give you a car or something like that. Okay, so that's going to be our first conditional, guys. Now we have the second conditional. Second conditional is going to be related to hypothetical situation. Which situation we are talking about?
Hypothetical situation.
Or hypothetical is also known as imaginary
Imaginary situation.
conditional, we can say imaginary situation. So again, I'm going to take the example of these two fellow. Now we have in here we are going to use if, we are going to use simple past tense. Which tense we are using? Simple past.
Simple past
simple
tense.
past.
On the other, sorry, okay, either we can use simple past tense or we can use were, guys. Okay, that is up to us as per the situation. We can use simple past tense or we can use were. On the other side, we are going to use would. We can use should, we can use could, we can use might, and we can use had to. Okay, these are the words which we can use here. Now the situation is hypothetical. The person is imagining in this case. For example, the person doesn't have a lottery ticket. Okay, but thinking. In this particular scenario, guys, the person doesn't have what?
Lottery ticket.
He doesn't have the lottery ticket. Okay, now in the first case, he had bought a lottery ticket and then he was thinking, okay, that this is going to happen in the future. In the second case, the person doesn't have a lottery ticket, but he's thinking for the future. He says, if I ever won the lottery, I would buy you a car. Or he's like Kansh is telling to Dhruv that Dhruv, if I won the lottery ever in the future, I promise you I would gift you a car. So in this particular case, guys, we are already referring to future only. Although we are using simple past tense here, but we are referring to future only. That this thing is imaginary. Okay, person is hypothesizing this thing. The person is what he's doing here. He's imagining this situation that based on this imagination, there is a possible result which will take place in the future. So in such a scenario, guys, there are only 5 to 10% chances. Getting better? What's the percentage?
Yes.
Possible 5 to 10%. Because see,
5 to
the person doesn't have a lottery ticket right now. He's just imagining this thing. But suppose Dhruv goes to the lottery counter and he buys a lottery ticket, gives it to Akansh. Tells him that, okay, you thought that you were very thoughtful that day, so I bought a lottery ticket for you. Okay, so again, it is a possibility for Akansh to win the lottery now. Getting beta? So we are again hypothesizing in this particular case. So sometimes you get a sentence like if, let me say we have Yash is here. Okay, if Yash was were a bird, he would fly high in the sky. So let me ask you, can Yash be a bird?
No, sir.
No, sir, not
Okay, but what are we doing here? We are hypothesizing. We are imagining this thing. So what I'm going to use, if Yash was a bird or if Yash were a bird? Okay, because we have to separate the sentence from the normal sentence. That is the reason we don't use was here. Rather, we use were. Getting beta?
Yes, sir.
Okay,
Yes,
so
sir.
in such a sentence, we don't use was. Even if you get is, am, are, don't go for that. That's why we say if you have the sentence starting with if, in that particular case, we don't use was, rather we can go for were only. Okay, so again, we are hypothesizing here. The person is imagining. Now, if you think that this thing is not possible, the person cannot become a bird. So we are talking about in future only. When we are referring to this thing to happen in the future, suppose we get a technology that these wings can be attached to a person and he can fly. Okay, that thing is still possible. We are talking about imagination, but that thing is still possible, beta. Getting it? We used to get sentences like if, let's say, Yash is there, was oblique were the president of India, and you are making this sentence when you are like 5 year old. So can you become a president of India when you're 5 year old?
No, sir.
No,
No,
sir.
sir.
So like I say, I would uh, buy you a house. Suppose this is a sentence he's making. So what should be the right word? Yash was or were the president of India?
A word.
One.
Word is going to be there. Okay, this is again going to be imagination. Okay, imaginative sentence we have. So we are going to use were instead of was. If you are not using were, then which tense we are supposed to use? Simple past tense. And
Simple
on the other side, we can use would, should, could, might, or had to. Okay, beta. These are the two conditionals so far. Any doubt in these two to anyone?
No, sir.
No, sir.
Now let's go to the third conditional. Okay, most important, it comes in exam. Apart from, I mean, first, second can also be there, but third condition is very important. This is known as impossible conditional. What do we call it? Impossible conditional. In impossible conditional, we use if, we use past perfect tense. Which tense we use? Past perfect. On the other side, we use would have, should have, could have, might have, or must have. These are the words which we are supposed to use. Okay, remember past perfect tense on the first side, on the side of if, and on the other side would have, should have, could have, might have, or must have. Okay, here we are referring to things which are done already in the past. Okay, which things we are referring to? The things which are done in the past. For example, Aakash was the one, Aakash was the one, right? Who had bought the lottery ticket? The boy who had bought the lottery ticket. So suppose he loses the lottery. Okay, what has done here?
Lose the top lottery
Person
ticket.
has, or let's say the person did not win the lottery.
Win that.
Okay, the person did not win the lottery. He bought the lottery ticket, but he did not win. So in that particular case, guys, we are referring to expired past condition. Okay, can we go back in the time and fix a thing? Can we make him win the lottery then, if the person has lost the lottery?
No.
No, sir.
Okay, so we are referring to expired past condition, and based on that, we are making a possible past result. That this thing was possible in the past if the first thing was fulfilled. So the person is going to say, if I had won the lottery, which tense are we using? Had won. Past perfect. Okay, then on the other side, we are going to say, I would have bought a car. Getting better? So in this condition, we use if plus past perfect tense. On the other side, we use would have, should have, could have, might have, must have. Now, if you talk about the possibility, so this thing is 0% possible. There is no chance of this thing to happen. Okay, we are just making the expired past condition based on that possible past result is being talked about. Okay, everyone?
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay, then we have the last condition that is going to be our zero conditional. Now in zero conditional, although it has zero in here, but the result is always going to be 100%. Because we say it is 100% because here we deal with facts only. What are we going to deal with? Yes, everyone. What are we going to deal with? Only facts. So in here we use if on the first side, we use simple present tense. On the other side also, we are going to use simple present tense. Okay, so we talk about real condition here. Which type of condition? Real condition, and there is going to be inevitable result of the same. That means the things which you cannot deny that this will not happen. For example, if you heat ice, so will it ever happen that it will not melt? Can that happen? No. Okay, it is always going to melt, guys. So we can say if you heat ice, it melts. That means which type of condition we are talking about? Zero condition.
Zero condition.
Okay, and the possibility is always 100%. That means 100% surety is there. Okay, this thing is going to happen. So these are the four conditions. Now let's go back to the questions we had discussed at the in the class earlier. So if I say the first sentence, guy, if she dash you, she would pass in the exam. We are using would here. This is how you're going to identify the same in the exam. So which tense are we supposed to use on the first side?
Simple.
Simple past or
Simple
were
past.
with there. Okay, which conditional we have? First, second, third, or zero?
Sir, hypothetical.
First,
Okay.
second.
Second conditional we can say, and we are talking about hypothetical
Hypothetical.
situation.
Hypothetical.
Getting it? Because the person is saying, what is the person trying to say? If she were you, okay, she would pass in the exam. So we are saying that if she were you. Now we cannot shift the places of these two people. Getting it? So we are just imagining this thing. We are being hypothetical in this situation. Second sentence we have, if I dash, yes, beta.
Sir, but you said that there is 5 to 10% possibility in this type of condition.
Okay, not always, Vanika, but that's why I said there is a least possibility we can say. Okay, 5 to 10% of least possibility we are referring to.
So excuse me.
All right.
Yes, Amol.
So if we are remembering our childhood, then we will use which condition?
If you are remembering your childhood, can you give
Like
an example?
a dash a boy or a child.
Okay, you can say if I were a child, if I were a child again.
Okay.
Get it again? Because you are imagining that. Can you become a child again?
No,
Not
sir.
really, but something happens in future, you get a medicine or something that, yes, it is possible to make you child again. So we are imagining that situation then. Okay?
Okay, sir.
So in second conditional, guys, hypothetical situation, we have 5 to 10% chances. That means we have least possibility of one thing to happen. Okay?
Yes,
Okay.
sir.
Not have
Now we have,
0% possibility.
what's that, Vanika?
Sir, it means we do not have 0% possibility.
Yes, we don't
That
have
is
0%.
not impossible.
It's not impossible. Things are really possible. Like if I were a bird, suppose you are thinking that if I were a bird. Okay, so it's not possible as of now, but something happens in future, you get wings or something happens. Okay, so that's, we are imagining that particular situation.
Oh,
Okay, now we have this second question, guys. If I dash to America, I will stay with my aunt. Which condition we have? First, second, third, zero?
First
Condition.
First.
Okay, because we are referring to if plus simple present tense. That's why we said if I go to America. This was a sentence in pre-board in some of these schools. So we are not going to use if I will go. What I'm going to use if I go to America. I cannot say if I will go to America, I will stay with my aunt. That's going to be incorrect. Okay, this is going to be first conditional. What's the another name for first conditional? Present
so
conditional. Okay, this thing is may or may not happen in the future. 50% chances are there. Now we have if I dash to market, I would have got you whatever you needed.
If I had gone.
So which condition we are talking about? First, second, or third?
The third condition.
third condition.
Okay, third condition. I don't know what is the condition in your place, but here if I talk about Dehradun, so the market is open till 10 o'clock. Till what time? 10 o'clock. Okay, so if we do not go to market during that time, that means we cannot go to market anymore. So suppose if I tell this to my mother or my cousin or my brother, if I dash to market, I would have got you whatever you needed. That is going to mean I'm talking about impossible thing because the market is not open after 10 o'clock. Getting it? So I'm saying if I had gone to market, I would have got you whatever you needed. So this is third conditional, and we are referring to impossible things because this thing cannot happen because the market is already closed for the day. Now we have if you heat ice, it melts. Which condition we have? First, second, third, or zero?
Fourth condition.
Zero we can say. Okay, zero condition.
Zero condition.
Great. Okay, zero condition we are talking about. So we are referring to what? We are referring to facts only.
Facts.
Okay, beta. So that's what we had to know about conditionals. Now let's discuss a few sentences which are going to be helpful to understand these conditions in detail. So when I say conditionals, that's the summary of these conditionals. So we use first condition for real possibility, like if I win the lottery, I will buy a car. Or we can say I will buy a car if I win the lottery. But if I change, I put the result first, and then if I use if I win the lottery at the end, do I have to use a comma to separate the result? No.
No,
Okay, so I can say if I see Mary, I will tell her. Or I can say I will tell her, or sorry, I will tell Mary if I see her. Okay, either way we can make the sentence. I will tell Mary if I see her, or if I see Mary, I will tell her. Now we have the second condition, that's for unreal possibility, guys. Okay, anything, but anything that has least possibility of one thing to happen. Okay, so we are going to use second conditional. Like if I won the lottery, I would buy a car. So we are referring to a dream-like situation. Okay, so we use simple past on the side of if, and would, should, could, might, and so on the other side. Okay, like I can say if I married Mary, I would be happy. Or the person saying I would be happy if I married Mary. Okay, either way you can make the sentence like if you ran fast, you might catch the train. So we are using might here. So can we use simple present on the first side? Can we? No. Okay, simple past will be there because might is being used, guys. If you use may, then which tense we can use on the first side?
The simple present.
So simple
Then I have to say if you run fast, you may catch the train. If you ran fast, you might catch the train. If I won a lottery, I would will be there. I would buy a car. I would tell you if I knew the answer. Okay, so we are not using comma to separate the thing. I would tell you if I knew the answer. If a thief entered your house, we are asking the person, what would you do? And if I were rich, okay, I would open a school for the poor. Getting better? So we are referring to hypothetical situation. Okay, in this case, if can have any subject, I, we, you, he, she, it, they, any noun. We are always supposed to use were only. We cannot go for was. And would, could, might. These are the words which we can use. Like if Sohan were you, he would study harder. If I were rich, I would buy a car. If she were invisible, she would walk into popcorn sales for free. Now she's not invisible right now. We are just imagining if she were invisible. Suppose something happens and we get a thing like we had in Harry Potter, and we start becoming invisible. Okay, if what should be the right answer here? If he was or were a woman, he would have lots of babies.
were a woman.
Okay. If someone was or were Bill Gates, he would be the richest person in the world.
The word.
Okay, this thing is also applicable if you have direct and indirect, guys. Like in direct statement you have, she said, if I were a princess, I would help her. When you transform, do not change this were into was. We are saying she said that if she were a princess, she would help her. We are already using would in this sentence. That means we are going to use simple past on the first side or were in the first side. Any doubts so far?
No, sir.
No,
Okay.
sir.
Then we have the third conditional, and we are referring to no possibility, impossible things. Like last week, you bought a lottery ticket, and then what happened to you? The lottery, you did not win the lottery. In that case, you can say if I had won the lottery, I would have bought a car. You can also say I would have bought a car if I had won the lottery. Okay, these things come in tense, guys. These type of questions are going to base means they are going to give you tense based exercise. Then also they can include conditionals in there. So we can say if I had seen Mary, I would have told her, or if I would have told Mary if I had seen her, and so on. Like here we can say if she had worked hard, she would have passed. So we are using would have. So that's the reason on the first side we are using past perfect tense, had worked. If he had left early, he might have got the train. And if he had informed me, I would have received him at the railway station. Okay, so we are reflecting upon the things which are not possible anymore. That means the person did not pass, he did not leave early, and he did not inform the other person. The last condition is zero condition. Here we talk about certainty, anything which is always possible. Universal truth, scientific facts, that's what we deal with. Like if you heat ice, it melts. Other things can also be there, like if you say if I miss the 8 o'clock bus, so I'm late for what? I'm late for work. So again we are using if I miss the bus and I'm late for work. We are using simple present and simple present. I'm late. If I am late for work, so what happens to the boss? He gets angry. If people don't eat, we are using simple present tense here. Don't eat, we are saying. And then on the other side, they get hungry and eventually they die. If you heat ice, does it melt? We are asking. Okay, I'm late for work if I miss the 8 o'clock bus. So that is means one thing depends on the second all the time. So we are using simple present and simple present. If you talk about the possibility in terms of percentage, so zero conditional is always 100% sure. Okay, there is always these many percentage of possibility. Like if you heat ice, it melts. Always it is going to happen. 50% chances are there in first condition. If I win the lottery, I will buy a car. And 10% chances are there, 5 to 10% least possibility. That's if I won the lottery, I would buy a car. And 0% we have in the impossible conditional. Like if I had won the lottery, I would have bought a car. Now from exam point of view, guys, whenever we get if and you have simple present tense, okay, So which words we are supposed to use on the other side? If you are using if plus simple present tense and you have first conditional.
So would, should,
So would.
may.
Would.
You have forgotten already, right? If you have simple present, guys, can we use would, should?
No, sir.
No. Okay, will, shall, may, can, must, guys. That's what we are supposed to use. If you have simple past, then
So then would, should, might.
Would.
okay, might we can use or had to. Now if you have if plus past perfect,
So would have, should have, could have, might have.
should have, could have, might have, or must have. Remember, these things are going to help you in exam, because whenever you get a sentence like if dash, I had gone to market, then I cannot say I would buy you a thing. I have to say I would have. Okay, if I were a bird, so I will be saying I would, not would have. Okay, if I go to America, so I'm not going to say I would or I would have. I have to say I will stay with my aunt or so on. Getting better? If you have if plus simple present, and we are not referring to first conditional, which other tense we are going to use on the other side?
Simple present only.
Simple.
Okay, so which conditional we have here?
So zero condition.
Zero
Zero
conditional.
condition.
That affect
Right.
one.
Okay, so remember these things because they can be part of the exam. Okay, like here we say 0. Okay, so there is a quiz, guys. It will not really take a lot of your time. So we have first question. What would you do if dash on your wedding day? What's the right answer? Rain, will rain, would rain. Rain will be there. Okay, would we have already said what would you do? So we are asking if it, that means if clause is at the end, we are going to use rained here. Simple past. If she comes, I dash call you. Will call you, would call you, would have called you.
I will call you.
I would.
Okay, will be there. Because we are using what? Comes here. That means simple present we are using on this side. On the other side, will be there. If I ate peanut butter, I dash sick. Would have gotten, would get.
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 Okay, get is going to be there because on the first side, which tense are we using?
So present tense, and it is a fact that person will get.
Okay, this is a fact related to a person.
Yeah.
Okay, what will you do if you dash the history exam? Will we are using?
Will.
If you fail.
Okay, if you fail the history exam. Okay, can you say if you will fail the history exam?
No, sir.
No.
No, sir.
Okay, if they had not that car, I would have driven you. Would have we are using?
Taken.
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 Okay, if it snows, dash still drive to the coast. Will you? Would you have?
So will you drive to the
Will you?
Will.
Okay, let's see how many of you have got the conditions right. He would have gone with you if you had asked him. Had asked. Would have. Which condition?
The
First,
third
second,
condition.
third condition we are referring to, right? If I won $1 million, won we are using, would we are using. Which condition we have?
The second condition.
Second.
Okay, if I forget her birthday, Andrea gets upset.
So
If I forget and she gets upset.
Zero condition.
Zero. Okay, this is a fact, guys. Whenever it happens, second thing is surely going to happen. What will she do if she misses the bus? Will she do?
The
First condition.
Okay, so these are the conditions, guys. I'm going to assign in an assignment. Okay, that's going to contain like 10 to 20 questions. Options will be there, so you don't have to waste your time in writing down anything. But it's a humble request. All of you are going to complete it. Okay?
Okay, sir.
Okay, so see you all in next class. Now, if you have a doubt, you can stay back and ask your doubt. And have a great evening, everyone.
Thank you, sir. Have a good day.
Thank you, sir.
good evening.